Hello and welcome. My name is Carlos with American Insurance Brokers. And if you're reviewing this video, I most likely asked you to help make your life a little bit easier by understanding how Medicare and Medigap plans work. It can be very confusing with all the mailers that you've received and phone calls and people you've spoken with. Other than that, Medicare should actually be very simple to understand, and I'm going to hopefully make it that way for you in 20 minutes or less. Here we go. I'm using the Medicare and You Guide 2016. We're going to jump down to page 17, and you're welcome to pause this and grab your book if you like and make notes. This is what I call the Medigap tree. You have the left side of the tree and the right side of the tree, and this is going to help summarize everything and get you to really understand how Medigaps work. So on the left side of the tree, we have what's called Original Medicare. So when Original Medicare first came into play back in 1967, they developed Part A and Part B. Part A is what you hopefully have earned by working enough working quarters of your life and paying into Medicare and Social Security. Part B is the additional benefit that you do have to pay for. That is for your outpatient services. So your free benefit per se is your hospital plan, and your Part B that you elect to include and pay for monthly is to cover your outpatient services such as doctors, visits, specialists, lab work, things of that nature, durable medical equipment. Those are all part of your outpatient services. So Part A, presuming you don't have any type of Medigap plan, you're going to have a per occurrence deductible if you enter the hospital of around $1,200 per occurrence. You have to pay that every single time you go into the hospital, as long as it's a different event. If it's the same occurrence or reoccurrence within 60 days, then you don't have to pay that deductible again. So in other words, if you had to go back in for a gallbladder attack, but you were in a month before, you don't have to pay that. Other than that, you're going to have to pay that every time. Part B, there's what you call a Part B annual deductible, which just recently went up to $161 for the year. After you've met your Part B deductible, that's for your doctors, outpatient, medical equipment, things of that nature, then you have to pay 20% coinsurance on all the remaining expenses, but there's no caps on that. No caps, no limits. And as you probably are aware, if you have some life-changing medical events occur in the course of the year, that 20% can add up to be quite a bit. All right, so that's why Medigap plans came into play. Under the left side, we're still sticking with the traditional insurance coverage. So under the left side of the tree, Care Supplement plans was the first form of Medigap coverage that came into play. Now, these plans range anywhere from Plan A all the way through Plan N, as in Nancy. And some of those plans have been changed or omitted over the years, so you can't buy a Plan J, for example, any longer. Some of them have been omitted. And I'm going to show you the chart here in a moment. So these plans were developed to cover X amount of percentages based on what Medicare pays and doesn't pay. So let's just go ahead and jump to that chart right now. So we're looking at the Medicare supplement chart here. And as you can see, there's plans A through N. Some of them have been omitted, as I mentioned to you. And you can see the various portions of Medicare expenses that a person would have to pay if they didn't have a Medigap plan. So the three most popular plans are Plan F, Plan G, and Plan N. Plan F is usually the most popular, and the reason why is because it's the best Medicare supplement plan you can get. It's going to cover pretty much 100% of all eligible expenses that within Medicare's allowance, of course, that they leave you otherwise paying. So as you can see, 100% on your Part A coinsurance or per occurrence deductible of $1,288, that's covered 100%. Your Part B coinsurance, the 20% is covered 100%. Your skilled nursing facility, and then your Part B deductible, which is the $161 for the year, that's also covered 100%. And Part B excess charges. The reason I try to stick with at least a Plan F or G is because these miscellaneous expenses that can be charged above and beyond what Medicare allows, doctors are starting to participate more so nowadays because of Medicare's, what they pay, keeps going down, and with the cost going up in medical procedures, of course, there's a little bit of a gap there. So this helps protect you from miscellaneous expenses as well. And then, like I said, almost 100%, they'll cover you 80% when you're out of the country for up to the first 30 days. So at least you do have some representation when traveling abroad. Now, even though Plan F is the most popular, I always recommend a Plan G to my clients. And the reason why is because Plan G does exactly every single thing that you see here that a Plan F does, except for it does not cover your Part B annual deductible. So if you have a Plan G, you will pay per occurrence. So if you go to the doctor, you'll pay about $37.50 is the negotiated Medicare rate for the doctor's visit. You'll pay that. Medicare keeps track of that, or the Medicare supplement company does. So now, they take $37.50 off of that. Once you've met your whole 161 for the year, you go to 100% coverage. There's your Part B coinsurance, 100% coverage. Okay, so why would this be a better plan, you might ask? Well, because the average cost difference between a Plan F and a Plan G is about $250 to $450 a year difference in premiums. So if you're only responsible for having to pay $161 at the most, why would you pay that much interest to an insurance company to pay your $161 for you? You want to pay $250, $350 a year more to have them pay your $161 for you? In my opinion, that's just not good finances, and I like to save my clients money. Plus, it takes the target off your back to insurance premium increases in the future. Plan Fs are going to be the ones that get hit the most because they cover 100%. Plan G, you're not going to get hit as much with future increases. You're still going to see increases as you get older, of course, but they're not going to be as hard of a hit as a Plan F. Okay? So with your Medicare supplement plans, these are the ranges of plans that are what we call modernized plans. So any company that offers a Plan F or a Plan G or Plan N, by the way, Plan N, the difference between that and the other two plans is you pay your deductible and your 20% coinsurance that you would pay normally under Part B, and it does not cover the excess charges. So a client has to be pretty convincing in order for me to put them on a Plan N. At that point, it's pretty much the basic Medigap plan. It's kind of like having your insurance through your group or your individual insurance. I recommend a Plan G. Okay. Now, these are all modernized plans, meaning any company that offers these benefits has to pay the exact same way. So a lot of times clients tell me, they say, oh, I have to have Blue Cross, or I have to have AARP, or I have to have Humana. I've been with them for years. They're the best. Well, that may be the case. However, what it comes down to at this point, since every plan pays exactly the same way, is as long as we're working with an A-rated or above carrier, and they can offer you a better price plan for one of these plans, that's the one we're going to recommend. I want you to save money. I want you to have good representation, but I don't want you to have to overpay for your Medicare supplement plan. So if you're paying, $60, $70 more a month to have Blue Cross, when I can put you with CSI, for example, who's an A-plus rated carrier, Berkshire Hathaway, and you're going to save $60 a month, you'd be crazy not to go to that plan. So keep that in mind when we're talking about Medicare supplement. And then last but not least, none of the Medicare supplement plans include prescription drug coverage. So you are going to have the third part, which we'll discuss right now. So with Medicare Plan D, or Part D, Medicare Part D, this is the third component of the left side of the tree than the original Medicare side. And that's simply your prescription drug plan. I don't need to go into a whole lot of detail about that right now. It's just you have choices to choose from. We got plans as cheap as $18 a month, as high as $70 a month. It's simply going to come down to what type of prescriptions you are taking. I will run a calculator for you. If you provide your list of prescription drugs, I'll run a calculator into the system. It'll spit out at the end which is the best plan for you to go on based on the cost of your drugs. And I can get you the best price plan for your drugs. Okay, so summarizing original Medicare, the left side of the tree, there's three parts. You've got your original Medicare, which is A and B. You've got your Part D, prescription drug plan. And then, of course, you have your Medicare supplement plan, which are plans A through N. Okay? Now, the only other part to understand when it comes to Medigaps is the right side of the tree, which is called Medicare Part C, which is otherwise known as Medicare Advantage. This plan came into place back in 2001. They've kind of, you know, added more to it each year and changed, restructured the plans to kind of make it work and or may try to make it better. But quite simply, what happened is the Medicare services, CMS said, you know, we're going to kind of alleviate some of the cost of Medigap plans and also make it easier for Medicare to handle billing and payment claims by putting off the responsibility to third-party companies. So what they said is they went to either Humana or United Healthcare or Anthem Blue Cross, you know, one of many thousand carriers, of course. And they said, listen, if we give you our clients, so to speak, to enroll in a plan by you, we're going to pay you X amount of dollars per month to take care of the Medicare recipients. And in return, you have to provide at least the minimum benefits of A and B. So when you go to a Medicare Advantage plan, let's just say Humana, for example. You join a Humana Medicare Advantage plan. Humana, at minimum, has to provide you with at least Parts A and Parts B. In order for Humana to get more business and to want to compete with the other carriers, what they decided to do is say, okay, we're going to take the minimum benefits and then we're going to add our own twist to providing additional benefits. So we can add a little bit of dental and vision here, some discount benefits for over-the-counter, you know, gym memberships, things of that nature. So they made it more appealing to Medicare recipients to kind of bundle and have everything in one package. In fact, one of the advantages of a Medicare Advantage plan is that you can also include prescription drug coverage all included into one plan. So, you know, right now, based on the surface of everything, Medicare Advantage, you have one card. So if you signed up with Humana, for example, you have one Humana card that takes care of everything, versus the left side of the tree where you have your red, white, and blue card, you have your prescription drug card, and you have your Medicare supplement card. You're a three-card carrier over here on the left-hand side. So the advantages of a Medicare Advantage plan is that you have one card, you have one provider, and the cost is a lot cheaper. Where on the Medicare supplement side, you're looking average cost of $95 to $160 a month or $260 a month, just depending upon where you're located, versus anywhere from $0 to $110 a month. So these plans were definitely made more affordable. However, for every advantage, there's always a disadvantage. So let's talk about the two plans and what I recommend and why. So with the Medicare Advantage plan, if you are joining a plan with, let's say, Humana, for example, being that you are signing up with an individual third-party company, it's fine and dandy. However, now you are subject to the network for that particular company. So if I sign up for a Humana plan, I have to make sure I stay within Humana's networks. Now, you probably are aware that over time the networks have not gotten any bigger, they've gotten what? Yeah, they've gotten smaller. So as the networks start to shrink, it does make it more difficult for clients to be able to go to the types of doctors and hospitals and facilities that they want to go to. And that's the number one complaint I get from clients who have signed up for an Advantage plan. They want freedom of choice. Well, with the original Medicare, you can go anywhere, anytime, any place in the country that you want to without having to get any pre-authorization, provided that they accept Medicare. So as long as they take Medicare, your supplement plan is going to work with you no matter where you go. And the prescription drug plans coverage are nationwide. Okay? With the Advantage plans, you have to stay in that insurance company's network. The other disadvantage is that even though your premiums are going to be lower on average, you're always going to have some type of out-of-pocket expense. You're always going to have to pay co-insurances and some type of daily confinement, $275 to $290 per day for the first 5 days, 20% for your durable medical equipment. So you're always going to be nickel to dime, and you're going to have out-of-pocket costs. Now, even though they do have maximum out-of-pockets per year, I mean, would you still want to be on the hook for $6,700 out of your pocket for that year? So that's why I always recommend, as long as it's affordable for you to have a Medicare supplement plan and your drug plan separate, I always recommend staying with traditional Medicare and just going with a traditional Medicare supplement plan. In my 22 years of experience in working with clients and helping my clients, you're always going to be better off on this left side than on the right side. Okay? If and when it becomes unaffordable for you to be able to stay on the left side, which in my opinion isn't until you hit age 77 to 80, okay? And even then, most folks are still sticking with Medicare supplements unless it just becomes unbearable cost-wise for you. I recommend staying on the left column, okay? The Medicare Advantage has its time and its place, mainly for people under the age of 65 who are on Medicare disability and can't afford can't afford a med sup plan because those prices under age 65 are, $500-600 a month. Then those folks I recommend going to Medicare Advantage plan. Okay, so again, in my personal opinion, the traditional Medicare supplement plan side is going to win 98% of the time, especially if you're just aging into Medicare. Okay, so I hope this explanation of Medicare and Medigap coverages hopefully broke it down for you, made it simpler. You're welcome to watch this video over and over again to understand it. But when you contact me, I'll obviously assume you watch this video, and you can go ahead or we're going to go ahead and talk about the traditional Medicare side and find you the best quotes available there, unless you explicitly tell me, hey, I want to look at Medicare Advantage. Okay? Questions, feel free to contact me at 574-936-4152, or you can email me at carlos@aibins.net, or feel free to go to my website, www.aibins.net. Carlos with American Insurance Brokers here, signing off. Have a wonderful day, and hope to talk to you soon.